I work at ESIT in Queen's University, which is just across the road. I'll explain a little bit about that in a minute. But I've titled my talk. You didn't ask for a title, Paul, so I made this up today. I predict the riot, the RF, Internet of Things. Because we're going to, in this alliance, I guess, we'll talk a lot about big data. We'll talk a lot about analytics and the cloud and all of that stuff. But none of it's going to work if the connectivity doesn't work. And if we're talking about bazillions of gadgets, bazillions of things to be connected, we're going to run into some major problems. And that's, if you like, where we can help. Now, I'm not going to talk all about that today, but I was looking for a catchy title. You know, I had Idiot at one stage, which was the ESIT International Director of Internet of Things, which is Idiot, but my wife told me not to do that. It's not good. It's not going to do my professional reputation any good. So anyway, so I changed it to Riot. I don't know who the Kaiser Chiefs are, because I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit old. Well, let's see, where I come from. So I'm academic. I actually look after the Centre for Wireless Innovation at ESIT. I'll explain that in a minute. ESIT is part of Queen's University in Belfast. This is an academic view. And academics have the great luxury is we don't have to sell anything. Not strictly true, because we're always selling our services. But, you know, we don't have a product to make. We don't have a service to deliver in the sense of selling it to another business. I've got confused already. But essentially I can say what I like, and that's the freedom that we have. So this is really just my opinions, a set of opinions, which hopefully will get you talking, get you arguing with me, ask me a few hard questions at the end, if we have time, because I talk too long. So a little bit about ESIT. ESIT is Institute of Electronics Communications IT, and I was promised by Paul that I didn't have to do a selling job because we'll get to ESIT at some point and we can do a pitch about ESIT. But I thought I would just put up a few numbers just to set the scene. And it is important. You'll see in the next slide why this is important. ESIT is a university department, if you want to call it that, or a division of Queen's University. But we started off down at Sandsburg, we're anchor tenant. And although we do research, fundamental research, some of our research is, well, my research is globally leading, pioneer, and my colleagues is good as well. And we bring in a lot of research money. In fact, we're one of the most successful units within Queen's in terms of research. We also do a lot of technology transfer. We've got hundreds of partners, licensees, blah, 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 sell. You know, there's slides with logos on it, but I didn't put them in the pack. We've been 13 years we've been down here. We established in 2003 down in the Science Park here. We have 180 people. In 5 years, we're going to turn that to 300, got a plan. We've facilitated 25 startups in the building, some for a very short time, some of them for a long time. We've had 13 spin-out companies or so I'm told. I can only count 10, and I've seen a slide with 10 on it, but Joe McCann gave me this one, so I'm going to use his bigger figure. But we've only one mission, and our mission is to translate university research into something that's real, tangible. And I came from an industry, I started in the industry, became an academic. There was no good in the industry because I talked too much. But academic, it's really great. So, I said we had a plan in ESIT. We had 180 people, and everybody will be, in fact, I was down as CSIT. I think CSIT were meant to talk. CSIT is a centre within ESIT, and I'll explain that in a minute. But we have established what is known as ESIT 2, the working title, which is Technologies for a Future Digital Society. Why is this relevant? Why did I bother putting it up here? Because I realised that this is in our business plan for the next 5 years. These are the things that we're going to be working on. And this is all about the Internet of Things, if you want to call it that. Right? So it's all about, you know, smart X, whatever that is, which all has to be connected in a massive way. It's all about, you know, the data that we produce, and it's all about the security of that data and the usefulness of it. And to do that, we have restructured ESIT. And we've restructured it in this way. And so this is fresh. It's going to be formally opened in a few weeks, I think. So I said I'm director of this centre, Centre for Wireless Innovation. We're all about the connectivity. And do we do wired? Yes, we do, but why do we call it wireless? Because we're going to connect a bazillion things, as I said earlier. You can't do it with wires. Right? We don't have enough copper to do it. We don't have enough fibre to do it. So we also have CSIT, which is our Centre for Secure Information Technology, very successful at, you know, helping the local environment here move into cyber security and meet those challenges. I'll talk a little bit about that later. And also a new centre that we have, these are the new people coming in on data science and scalable analytics. And so these are guys who are in the computer science department at Queen's who are moving down to ESIT. And we're actually going to build a new wing as well. So pitch over. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Internet of Things. I did what every good student does. I Googled it. Right? I found, this was yesterday, 240 million records of Google. It's probably just an estimate. I didn't read them all. Why did I do it? Because I hate the term. I personally hate the term. I told Paul this before I agreed to talk. I don't like it because it means everything. It means that all things to all men. So what is it all about? What is the Internet of Things? And I stole this from a white paper. Academics are great. We can just take the best of what's around the world. It's not called plagiarism. It's called using the best from around the world. Not my own word. But yeah, so for the typical elephant problem, to a blind man, it just means whatever you're working on today, machine to machine, machine to machine, has been around for a long time. It is the Internet of Things. My goodness. It is what it's all about. It's smart home. You know, everybody's got to start working in a smart home these days. Everybody's doing data analytics because there's no value in data unless you do something with it. So, yeah, you know, everybody's providing something as a service. Everybody's doing wearables. Actually, I should have said at the start, doing wearables 20 years ago when nobody wanted to do it. Nobody actually wanted to do it. In fact, it was terrible. There was a solution looking for a problem. Talk more about that later. So this is the challenge that we face, and something that I hope this network can help this group of people and the wider community work out. I spent a lot of time in this slide, most time in all my slides, trying to get this. You know, I tried to animate them too, but I couldn't do it. So basically, you pick all is the only thing that's here. So you put the slot machine, away you go. And you can have the industrial Internet of Things, the industrial web of stuff, the global Internet of everything, the physical Internet of sensors, the intelligent location, well, no, it doesn't work. The location of objects, you can have any combination you want. And I see this, you see this, if you do any market research in this area, you'll see this is the big challenge. We really don't know what we're talking about in a way. We just are trying to sell stuff. We're trying to get a market position. I think there is market positions to be had, in my view as an academic. And you know, there's definite work to do. There's innovation to be made, but it's just trying to work out where we fit in all of this. Apparently, this guy here from Procter & Gamble was the inventor of the Internet of Things, so he claims. He used it in a presentation in 1999. But of course, back then we used to call it machine to machine, and it's been around since the days of cellular. It's vending machines and whatever. So I like to think about it this way: it's the application of ICT. So I've taken the Cisco and the IBM. These are old. You know, it's stuff connected and something making sense of it. Stuff connected, making sense of it. Well, that's sort of not the right diagram. Cisco don't like to do anything that's normal. They like to. Anybody from Cisco here? This should ask. Okay, that's good. You're not admitting to it. Cisco like to, we don't just do the Internet of Things. We do the Internet of everything, and that includes people. You know, every week I get invited to another conference on the fog networks for the Internet of People. You know, it's just random words jumbled up. But these ideas, clearly this makes sense. Clearly the IBM vision back here was, look, if we can do something actionable with all of this, the data analytics that we have, we could, it's not just about sensing, it's also about doing actionable things. We can have sustainable transport. We can do something great. I'm sure we're here with smart cities from the next speaker. There's lots of interesting applications that we can bring societal true benefit out of this. This is IBM's Smarter Plan. So, I see it as the application of ICT. That's my thought. What about cows? Everybody needs a cow in their Internet of Things presentation. I was going to put a chicken on because we have a chicken as our mascot in our centre, but I thought I'd put cows on. So this came in my email box this week. I thought, there's a picture of a cow. Great, that's Internet of Things. I stuck it on there. Then I thought to myself, I used to implant sensors into cows to monitor them on their way to the slaughterhouse and in fields and stuff. And that was at the University of Ulster. We used to work there in a grant with Rosalind Institute in 1999. This stuff isn't new. It's generally been done before, but now all we're doing is we're taking the advances in big data, in cloud technologies, in connectivity, And we're repackaging all of these ideas that have been around for decades. It's the application of ICT. I even found internet trousers. So this is from Samsung. This is in their Arctic platform. So they're trying to push this and sell this. They talk about the Y flag. They get off alerts, keep your pants on mode. But if you notice here, this was April the 1st, 2016. So I think even the global players in this field have a sense of humor. Internet trousers, that was piece of resistance. So this is TTP in the UK, you'll know them. It's vendor driven. It's a solution looking for a problem. It's a hype. This is to dream up new applications to their chips. So if you're Texas Instruments, you were selling IoT chips or connectivity chips back in the day. You just call them IoT now. You're trying to ship more parts, more widgets. You're trying to sell more data analytics. You're trying to sell more cloud servers. That's the cynical tongue-in-cheek thing for me. There's no why. People say this, there's no I in T. Well, there's no why in IoT, is my phrase. This is the golden circle. If you've been in a management course in the last few years, you'll have seen the golden circle. Start with the why and build out. Again, the cynicism is dripping out of me, unfortunately, and I think you're videoing this, it's not good. Why? And that's a big question. What is it? Where's the value in this for the ultimately society, the customer, the business? What's it about? What are you doing for them? Not how are you doing it, not why are you doing it? You're going to get this wrong like that. Not how you're doing it or what you're actually selling them. Why? What's it all about? And we need to get that right. Now, some people have been thinking about it. Salesforce produced this blog. I Googled, the golden circle and IoT, like all good people. I don't know anything. It's all on the internet, so let's go there and get it. And I Googled golden circle, so I want to find out the why in the IoT and Internet of Things, and this is the only thing I got. Salesforce blog that says the Internet of Things is not about things, it's about, I actually agree with that statement. I agree with that. There's only value in the data, really, even though I'm all about connectivity myself. But I agree with that. Well, actually not data, but what you do with the data. But what they were saying here, the why was about the data is about understanding your customers. So they're doing it from their perspective. So the IoT, it's the mining the data in the IoT from all these connected things that will give you the why so that you can sell more stuff to your customers. That was basically what they were talking about. I still don't, when I say it's nearly there, I don't know why for the IoT. And the reason why I don't know why is it's too broad. I promised myself I wouldn't put a hockey stick graph on here and an exponential. Well, I decided to put it on anyway. Why not? Why not have the obligatory exponential? I love it. Bazillions to be made. I don't even know what these axes are. It doesn't matter as long as the graph's going in the right direction. We had a workshop with academics and industry on 5G a couple of weeks ago, and everybody had the obligatory exponential graphs. So I thought I'd have that. The problem with this is everybody agrees. We don't know what the numbers are, but we all agree there's a graph like this somewhere. How do we secure it? This is the biggest risk that we have for this. Now, not just because of my CSIC colleagues, and I'm supposed to be speaking for CSIC, but how do we secure or deal with this insecure Internet of Things? How do we do it? And I thought, like all good teachers, I'd give a little example. So here's a very simple example. This is MQTT, so this is an old technology, 1990s technology, which is really about, it's an application layer technology, so it sits on top of your TCP/IP links or whatever, right? So this is you publish some data from sensors, you subscribe to it, right? But there's no, it was built in an era where cybersecurity wasn't an issue. And there's an awful lot of problems trying to make this thing secure. So you can try to secure the transport here, so this runs over some TCP/IP link, right? So we don't know what this is, but it's a sensor somewhere. And it publishes to a broker, basically, to the cloud, you want to call it that. Like somebody defined the cloud for me last week, somebody else's servers. The cloud is, the definition of the cloud is somebody else's servers. And if you're a cloud vendor, I really apologize for that. I thought it was great. For a comms guy, I love that. Anyway, the problem here is you can use on the TCP/IP, you can use TLS or whatever to secure this. But there's a big overhead for the sensors, and these things are meant to be probably they're wireless, they're battery powered, they're energy harvesting. Hey, that's a big overhead. Not least, okay, even if it's about energy, it's cost, it's additional cost. It's additional work to get it to work. But the main problem is it requires a higher bandwidth physical layer here. So if you're using one of these long-range IoT RF connectivity things, all of a sudden you can't be bits per second. You're talking megabits per second to get this right. And so you've got a problem. Oh, okay, but all these QTT broker vendors say, oh, you can do payload encryption, and you can. So you just encrypt like you do here your temperature reading, but you know everything else. Everything else is in plain text. So there's no simple solutions. So I'm not giving a solution here. I'm saying there's a lot of work and a lot of space for innovation. How are we doing for time? Running out yet?
Give me 5.
Okay. So the thing I love is radio. That's what I do for a living. And this is about long-range, wide area network connectivity. How do we connect these sensors with one another? There's a nice graph down here. I should have put it in the left-hand corner. But basically, depending on the distance you want to go and the data link rate you have, there's different technologies. You've got cellular here, which can go long distances, but and it's high bandwidth. Or you can go short distances with Wi-Fi or something like that. Or you can do short distances with Bluetooth LE and some other proprietary type things here, right? Or how do we do long distances but on low bit rates for IoT? So it's what we call these low throughput networks. So this is from a vendor. I don't even know how to pronounce it. IoT? Babbitt? I don't know. And you'll have heard of Sigfox and LoRa and all this sort of stuff, right? And they all the vendors argue about their range. And when I look at their calculations, they're worse than our second-year comms undergrad students. The link budgets are worse than the ones those guys would do. They ignore everything. So we get one thing right, and that is that if you've got one of these 868 megahertz, these signals travel for miles, and they do. This is from an academic paper, and this is a LoRa network, or a single LoRa transmitter on a car or a boat. This is out at sea in Finland. And this is the range that you get, and these are the signal levels. Doesn't matter. Red's better, blue's worse. And you can see this is covering the city of Finland, but it's only one transmitter. And they've not factored into any real measure of the interference that they get from their own systems and devices. And if you scale this up, it does not work. Now, the vendor will disagree with me, Sigfox will disagree with me, but there's a lot of problems here. Now, 5G have thought about this. So at the same time, the cellular industry is going, we need to be in this IoT thing. And as we know, we've got 4G, and 5G is on the rage. We had a workshop on it last week over at ESIT. And 5G is all about these stuff, the 7 trillion devices, that are going to be here in whatever X years, and 5G should be able to connect them. And we had Samsung, we had the head of standards for Samsung over, and this is their 3 pillars: really fast 5G internet, really low latency, really high reliability, and IoT. This is IoT, and what we call it machine-type communications, massive machine-type communications. So IoT, really massive machine-to-machine, is high on the 5G agenda. It's not just, 5G is not just about being faster. So these people are competing with these people. Now, if you think about it, if you've got bazillions of devices and this stuff doesn't work with interference, what are you going to have to do? Make the cells smaller. So actually, these two things will converge. That's my prediction. So last example, I've really run out of time now. Connected home. I love a connected home. I think it's a great thing. This is somebody else's slide. I don't even know where it was produced. Prediction of the many bazillion connected devices in the home, and whether they're going to be there for automation, home automation, security, or for energy management. Right? So think Google, Hive, for that. This is a slide a year out of date. I'm sure it's more complicated now. Look at all the things you've got to deal with if you talk about the connected home. I mean, this is terrible, right? And the problem is we've got millions of standards, and everybody's had this cartoon before. Let's make a standard that covers everything. And then now we've got 15 standards. Well, if you want to do the connected home, I discovered there was a nice Korean patent back in 2012 which talks about a virtual home gateway. That's interesting. Right? You'll never read this, but essentially what they want to do is they've got a let's think about your internet home, help in the home, and here's the cloud up here, and all you do is, instead of all these standards that you've got in the home, competing with each other, all devices from different technologies, you simply virtualize them. So it's network function virtualization, software-defined networks, if you know what that is. cloud technologies pulled together. And this actually makes a lot of sense. You can convert protocols. You can easily add in more devices. You can deal with legacy smart meters. You can do whatever you want because it's virtual. And what you can do is you can partially implement all of these comms things in the cloud. You can fully implement all of the middleware, all of the higher layer. So this is on the physical layer comms.
Everyone, it's a real pleasure to be here this evening. I'm afraid that my presentation is no way as entertaining as yours was, William. I thank you for that. But it was also very reassuring for me because I don't come from a technology or an ICT background. I am a member of the Smart City team helping to drive forward that policy and that vision for Belfast City Council. And that's one of the important reasons for us to be here this evening, to share with you where we're going as a council, what we want to do, what our plans are, but to collaborate and network with you because we need your insights, we need your ideas, your intelligence, your expertise to help us understand what Internet of Things is, what Smart Cities is all about, how we can work with you. And it was really, really reassuring for William to explain that really people don't always know what Internet of Things is, even if they seem to be working in that field. So that was fantastic for me as a starting point. So basically this evening we want to share with you where we are as a City Council and moving forward with the Smart City Agenda. And to give you the context of that, many of you will be aware that in April 2015 the Council was given a whole host of new powers really, and it's a unique opportunity now for Council because we have been given powers to create a community plan, what we call our strategic plan, and what is also referenced as the Belfast Agenda. And in terms of creating that agenda, it means we're coming up with a strategy for the city which will look at how we develop the key services for the city, which aren't the services necessary that we deliver in terms of energy, transport, housing, etc. But we must work across the city with our stakeholders to develop a plan and shared outcomes for the city. And this has never been done before. Previously, we have always created a Belfast City Council plan to deliver things that we are responsible for. But as we move to the future, we are creating a much wider plan for the city, which gives our councillors or elected members a lot more influence, a lot more power, and this is really important. And in determining what we're going to achieve in that plan, which is going to have a vision up to 2030, a lot of conversations have been going on across the city with our residents, with all of our stakeholders, with businesses. Many of yourselves might have been involved in those conversations to help us prioritise and to make sure that we understand the issues that matter to everyone so that we can work together and we can collaborate to move our city forward for the future. So we've managed to condense some of those key issues already that we've captured on the slide that you can see. And I'm sure the priorities that we have as a city moving forward aren't a surprise to you all. But basically, we want to grow the economy. We want to make sure that Belfast is the place that people want to invest in. And in terms of growing that economy, we want to put employability at the heart of that. We want to know that we've got the talent here, we want to keep the talent here. And I was just discussing with Susan, the Cambridge Belfast Met before we all came into the room, how important our relationships are between the universities and the colleges to make sure that we grow the right talent for the jobs and that we have the foresight and vision to know what the jobs of the future are going to be. And we're working very closely with our key stakeholders on that particular issue. We want to make sure that the city is a place where people can live comfortably, that they have quality of life. But we do know that there's still issues in many parts of the city around poverty and many challenges that we want to overcome, and we need to do that by working collaboratively. We've still got around 90 interfaces across the city. We have an unacceptable level of unemployment, especially among our young people, and still so many people who are out in the field what we call hard to reach. We're not even been able to access people to let them know what the possibilities are for their lives. So we need help in addressing those types of issues. We don't want our young people leaving school without qualifications. We want them to have aspirations, to know what their future holds for them, and to understand perhaps what technology can do to help them in their lives. We want to build our talent, we want to attract our talent, and we do want to retain the talent in the city. And we have seen over recent years how our city is really developing as a place for tourism, as a location where people are coming. I know when I was growing up in Belfast, We certainly didn't have the numbers of tourists as in the city when I was a kid in town, but certainly now we see our city filled with people from different countries, people from different cultures coming to visit our city, and that's a fantastic thing to see developing. So in terms of our ambitions of what a smart city might look like and how we use IoT and Internet of Things, well, this is a type of vision that we might have. And it's really about being connected and about using technologies to help us drive forward our city vision. But technology really isn't at the foremost of our thoughts in council. Really, we want to achieve this type of connectivity in these services because we want all of our services to be centred on our citizens. We want to be able to be engaging our citizens so that we can work with them to identify our needs. We want our citizens to be able to shape the future of the city that we all live in. And we want to be able to deliver accessible services to our citizens effectively and efficiently. And our Deputy Chief Executive, Roman Cragen, who some of you might know, is also with finance. So he's always very interested in ways not to have to raise the level of our weights and making sure we all deliver within the weight level. So we want to be efficient, but we want to deliver effective services. And more we need to collaborate to do that, to meet the needs of our citizens and create the quality of life that people expect in our city. Sustainability is also at the heart of our agenda moving forward. We want to be a city that's open to the adoption of the cleanest and greenest technologies. Reducing carbon emissions is also really important to us. And we want to be able to look at how we create a circular economy and reduce food waste. The words resilience and adaptable also are words that we use when we're discussing what we want to be as a smart city. We really want to build a city that can adapt for the future. We want a city that can bounce back, that can easily look to change. How can we incorporate change? How we can look at new ways of thinking? And that's what the whole smart city agenda and Internet of Things is making us do now at Council. It's making us really look back because we can't look to the future and use the same old ways of trying to solve problems. We really need to get on board with technology and to embrace it and to work with companies and work with academia so we can plan a future city that we can all be proud of. We really want to be open and innovative in this type of scene. We want to be open to new ideas. And you talked about data earlier. We are really keen to start looking at how we can become a city that shares data and create the appropriate ecosystems and infrastructure to stimulate creativity around data sharing, how it can stimulate entrepreneurship. We are aware of the myriad of standards and so on that we need to consider. But again, we want to be able to look at those issues in partnership with people like yourselves and be guided through that, because I know my mother used to say information is power, and I think that's what data is. It gives us power, and we really need that data to be able to be analysing it, to be able to inform decisions. We have elected members at City Council who are making decisions about the city. We need data, we need the analytics to inform those decisions about what the needs are for the city and how we can change things for the future. Connectivity is key. Fibre, Wi-Fi, transport connectivity, how we link up as a city, how we make it a city that's more easy for people to move around, more accessible. And at City Council, we're just now looking at how we roll out Wi-Fi throughout the city. But in all of this, it's about collaboration. I keep saying the word, I've said it probably quite a few times already. We need a city where the civic leaders are collaborating with the researchers, with the businesses, with our residents. This isn't going to happen just for City Council driving a smart city agenda for the city. It's going to happen by all of us working together and by being more open about working together. And underpinning all of this are the digital technologies, Internet of Things, giving us the opportunity to embrace these new technologies, to look at how we can push our city forward, make it excel as an economic driver of the region. So while that's a sort of snapshot of looking at, I think we've got the Belfast Hills in the background, we want to see civic leader role in the city to be able to help join up those dots and to make technology real for the people, to benefit the lives of people living in Belfast. So some of our challenges, if I asked you in the crowd what are the key challenges facing Belfast, well, they're going to be the key challenges facing most cities. We have some particular issues in dealing with those transport, waste, energy, infrastructure, marginalised communities. There'll be no surprise to you, but in terms of moving forward, we really want to be able to look at how can technologies help us move things forward. And there are other cities in the world who are out there in terms of their transport, how they're using real-time data for planning and integrating the transport systems. How can we enable our citizens to have an effective transport system? Are there technologies that allow us to do that? And a system that sort of balances the needs of our residents, but also the environment and the economy as well. Waste, a huge issue for our city. The management of our city's waste remains a significant cost. If we could even come up with some way of reducing that, it would be a great benefit to our citizens and to the coffers of City Council, because then they'd be able to reinvest more money back into the city. We have an EU target of 50% recycling rate by 2020, so we want to be innovative about how we achieve that target. We're looking at the circular economy, are there opportunities for sensors and other technological inventions that we can use? Energy, big issue for us as well. Historically we have higher costs in terms of our energy costs for Northern Ireland. We have, as a result of that, we've got about 42% of people living in fuel poverty in Belfast. So that's a big issue for us. So we're kind of vulnerable being sort of at the end of the pipeline in terms of, for gas and oil, in terms of price rises. So how do we work together to look at new energy methods for the city? And also infrastructure. I think we all recognise that there really has been a lack of investment in infrastructure over the years. We know that the drainage infrastructure of many of our towns in Northern Ireland is really inadequate, and the problems are really most acute in the Greater Belfast area. So how do we overcome that problem and use the new technologies and working together? And last but not least is our marginalised communities. We've all experienced real changes in Belfast that are for the benefit of the past decade. We've had companies coming to the city, we've had the growth of our universities and so on, but yet the people in our five neighbourhoods are still suffering. So what's happening? We've had a lot of investment and a lot of money put into those neighbourhoods. They're suffering from health inequalities and poverty, and they haven't shared in the successes of our city. So what can we do about that? Most of our city neighbourhoods are still segregated. We've got still physical barriers with worklessness and health inequalities. We have differences between life expectancies in different parts of the city. Is there something that we can do to change behaviours, to help improve people's lives through new technologies and Internet of Things? So it's a formidable challenge that we face as we move forward to look at how we create our new vision and move forward in terms of our city plan. But this is a very rough outline of where we're taking comfort in City Council, because many of you here might be working already within what we're calling our ecosystem in terms of smart cities and how we're moving forward. We have a really positive policy context coming from Europe and the UK, driving innovation. We have an innovation strategy for a region, we have an open data strategy for a region, and we can learn a lot from that, and that's creating opportunities for us in how we move forward as a smart city. We all know that we've got these highly acclaimed research centres that we can access, the universities, we've got Belfast Metropolitan College. We need to connect better with you as a council, because we understand that in terms of academia, you need to have real projects that can show impact on the ground. Well, we have a city that you can work with, so talk to us about your ideas and your projects. We have a really strong commercial digital sector. We have a Connected Health Innovation Centre. We have growth in our digital media sector, which I think in recent years has ranked number 2 in the top 5 clusters of creative industries in the UK. We've lots going for us. We've just heard about cyber security, the world of ESIT, and the new the expansion that they plan in terms of wireless, IoT, cyber security. We have a lot of really good things happening in our city, and we've mentioned the opportunities for our universities to build skills and capacity. So we have a lot going on in our city that can really help us move forward. We need to be able to join up these dots in a smart way and to work better together, and that's how we see ourselves moving forward to create a smart city. And it's because of this really strong infrastructure that some of you will be familiar with, and perhaps work in some of the companies that have come to invest here over the past few years. And for the second year running, Northern Ireland has been the fastest growing economy, growing knowledge economy in the UK. Belfast is really a key driver of this, and we want to be able to continue to support the aspirations that are stated in the innovation strategy for Northern Ireland to be one of Europe's most innovative regions by 2020. So another way that we are trying to work more cooperatively and innovatively with SMEs and the Council is by working through a new model of procurement of innovation and research. Some of you might be familiar with SBRI, the Small Business Research Initiative, and have already been successful in following this route. It came, I think, to the UK via America, where it was very, very successful, and has been adopted by the UK government, run through Innovate UK, and recently we have applied with the Land and Public Services of the Department of Finance and Personnel to this fund to try and look at how we can collaborate on projects run through the SBRI model. So we're working through the process at the moment, but for those of you who are interested in getting involved, just a very brief outline of this. It works in 2 phases. We will have money to fund SMEs who get involved with us to come up with a solution in a concept phase, which we call phase 1, and we will be funding phase 1 for this whole process. So the competition is run. In phase 1, we give companies who get through that phase money to develop a concept to help us with a particular problem we have at the Council. We have an assessment panel who judges phase 1, and those companies who are successful go through to phase 2, which is prototyping stage, and we will then allocate money to those companies who get through to stage 2 for prototyping. This hopefully will create and stimulate innovation with companies. It gives us an opportunity to de-risk some of the investment and to try new ways of working as a council. And at the end of the day, we hope that companies will be able to come up with some kind of solution that meets our needs, but a solution that can be marketable worldwide on a global scale possibly. At the end of the day, then if we like the solution, we then procure through the normal channels. So we will be developing this now in the next few months and getting information out to SMEs about that. So that's one of the ways in terms of our smart city approach that we're also looking at council how we procure and how we work better with SMEs. So just in summary then, we're really pushing forward with the concept of the smart city. We see it as a way to embrace technologies to really help us meet the needs of our citizens and to face the challenges of our city. We have engaged with Innovate UK and the Future City Catapult, who are co-investing with us to develop a smart city roadmap. And as we're developing that roadmap, we will be engaging more widely in discussions, so we'll possibly feed back to this forum as well as part of the process. We want to be smarter about how we're working with SMEs, and working through that small business research initiative model is one way that we're doing that. We want to really be involved in encouraging partnership working and collaboration because we see that that's the only way that we can move forward. And we are now taking on a role in terms of city leadership and looking at other areas beyond those areas of direct responsibility. So working in energy, transport, unemployment, etc. We know that, as I've mentioned, our universities are at the cutting edge of research and innovation in so many fields, but are under pressure to make sure that research can be turned into impact on the ground. So we want to work with you to ensure that impact can happen in Belfast. Why not work with us rather than other cities? So just to finish then, we really see smart cities as a new way of thinking for us and a new way of working. And we hope that being a smart city means that we have a place where we can collaborate together to make Belfast a brighter and smarter city for all of us to live in. That's done.
So, William, any burning questions? Go ahead, Alan.
Survey the roadmap you mentioned, has it completed? Is it near completion?
No, it's just kicking off. We're just literally, I was jumping up with the Future Cities Catapult this afternoon. We're just signing off on working arrangements with them, so it's just at the early stages. And in terms of creating the roadmap, our chief executive and our deputy chief executive are really keen that we start going down the route of the SBRI model, for example, so that we're engaging with SMEs, we're working with academics and others So we build relationships and then we develop the roadmap in parallel with some projects that we're working on as well. So we can learn from those projects. We're taking some small steps and looking at smart city approaches, and how we learn from that will be put into the roadmap. So the roadmap will be an opportunity for us to engage more widely with everyone as well.
And is that, sorry, is that inclusive of everything, i.e. sensors through the connectivity, through to the data, through the exposure data via APIs, applications, making it smart, and then impacting back everything and everything?
It's yet to be defined. We will have to take them on board because, as I've mentioned earlier, I'm not a technological person, so all of those areas we will need to take advice on. So we will be developing sort of an advisory group to help us, drive forward on the roadmap, but we will be consulting more widely. Who doesn't need to include that? At this stage, I don't know, but I would say that obviously we need to have opportunities to consider those questions and, build those in if necessary. But it's just getting off the ground. So if you want to be involved, please contact me.
Okay.
Okay. Can we segue quickly then to you, Mark? So final speaker is Mark McGuire from Fujitsu. And you're already queued up, so
I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to come and speak. I must apologise that some of my information will be a repeat of what's already been covered. But I think it's just, this is for us to give a supplier's view on what's happening for us in IoT and where we think things are going in terms of the future direction. And hopefully that then supports some of the things that Jerry has said around smart cities and some of the things that William said around what the future holds and how we need to look at these things in terms of the totality for the Internet of Things. So one thing, we don't like the hockey stick curves either, so we went for something slightly different. So it's these things, it's the advancement of technology over the last number of years has been phenomenal, and as was said previously, it is an interesting time to be involved in this sector. These things are just phenomenal. Years ago you used to be considered an expert. Now I think possibly an expert in a lot of areas. It's that broad. So we're looking at the number of things that need to be connected. So that's a key part of going forward, is that connectivity, as William mentioned. And taking forward, we are going from it going back to the ecosystem. So as a large vendor, we're not providing end-to-end services. We don't do the technology, do the sensing, the connectivity. We look at what we're looking at is the value. So the value for us is taking the information, analysing that information, and getting the value out of it. So supporting whatever we need to do in terms of business. And then looking at the SMEs and other technology sectors to provide the agile benefits on delivering stuff on the ground, enabling the quick moving change that needs to support these strategies going forward. So first we're looking at the Internet of Things from us is these 4 pillars. It's things, the stuff that's out there. It's how you connect those things to provide the data back to the back-end systems, and then how you analyze that data to provide value. And that's what we see as, that's where we want to be. We're sitting at the back end where we're looking to analyze data to provide value for the end user. So this is our diagram of the Internet of Things. It's all this stuff connected to deliver data, to deliver value, and support all of those initiatives around smart cities and other things in terms of healthcare and agriculture. All of those things we're looking at how can we deliver benefit to the community. So for us, we're calling our approach human-centric innovation. As we're putting people at the centre of everything we need to deliver. So all of that information that's being gathered, all of that data, and how do we analyse that to give value to the person, and no matter where that person sits. So in terms of what we do and what we're doing currently in IoT, so we start off, we have smart agriculture. Now, a lot of these things are actually global things that we do rather than things that we're doing here on the ground in Northern Ireland. So smart agriculture, we have a core platform in Japan at the moment called ESIT, which is actually an analytics platform for capturing and analysing information that's captured from agriculture. So that's both arable and animal. So a lot of it is we have sensors in the ground to capture the data, weather, from soil conditions, and all the things to see how do we need to manage the ground to get the best output from that piece of ground to the crops that we're growing. And then from the animals, it's sensors on animals. We'll come up in a minute. You might have a picture of a cow somewhere. But capturing information that allows us to analyse to make best use of those resources. So allowing farmers to identify when to breed animals, when to bring them into milk, those sorts of things that mean it's valuable for the farmer, but it also means you get better use of resources. Especially when in Japan they have the same sort of problem we do in agriculture, where the farming population are actually aging, and there aren't enough young people coming through to fill the same spaces. So we're looking at how does technology support these ecosystems to allow less people to deliver the same output. There we go. There's the cow. So in terms of, we're looking at, we currently have it's called a pedometer for a cow, but it manages or measures the cow's movement, and that allows the farmer to be notified when the animal is actually in estrus. And actually when in the estrus cycle, the farmer needs to breed to get a cow or to get a bull. So what type of herd you have, you can actually identify when you need to breed to keep your herd stock in the type of animal that you need. And then we capture all that information and put that onto Accusam and analyse and report. And some of these things we're looking at in terms of, we'll come on to in the future, is what other information can we capture, what other information can we provide that then provides to the wider ecosystem, so veterinary services, all those things that can actually, gait in a lot of different animals is indicative of illness. And so how you move can actually be analysed to say what you're suffering from. It's the same cow. So we're looking at those things to see how can we analyse that information to get early warning for illness and therefore not have as much time or vet bills or those things in terms of taking downtime for the end user. We're doing traffic analysis. And you see, we like putting smart in front of everything as well. So we're looking at what devices we use to monitor the flow of traffic. So there are all sorts of things. There's sensors in the roads, there's sensors of traffic lights. We also have sensors that actually pick up whether windscreen wipers are moving or not. So actually you get an identification of what the weather is. So you can actually say, does that have an impact on traffic flow? And therefore analyse all of that information to work out how do I need to manage the flow of traffic within my city to make sure I don't have congestion, I don't have all of these things. And looking at what other sources do we need to take in from that. So we take feeds from police for accidents, we take feeds from bus services for the buses broken down, and that sort of, all trying to feed this information out. Some of these are future, but this one isn't. This is actually live in Tokyo at the moment. So we feed into managing traffic flow based on monitoring of all of these sorts of things. And we're looking to see how can we take this forward to actually get more information. So can you get data feeds from other areas to look at, if you subscribe to certain services in mobile, it's with you when you're traveling, can we get information on that and feed all of these things in to give us more value from the data that we're capturing? This is one where it's monitoring tiredness effectively. So it's someone's driving, long distance lorry drivers, those sorts of things where tiredness is an issue in terms of, one, that they're spending too long at the wheel, two, that actually if you are tired, you then are more likely to cause accidents, therefore impacting other people. So it's a wider context of, yes, you're monitoring one person, but there's a whole load of things that you're actually trying to prevent. Trying to look at all of these things coming together as Internet of Things sensors, which are providing information for us to monitor and maintain, and will allow then the back-end company to provide a better service to the end user. Another thing we're doing at the moment is we're providing a van, we call it a connected van, but it has effectively its asset and inventory management. So we RFID tag all of the assets within the vehicle. So we're working with utility companies at the moment So these vans are out on the ground. Everything that goes in and out of the van is actually tracked. And if one of the engineers is on a job at a site and doesn't have the part, he can actually be on the system and working out, is there anyone near me on a job with that part? So rather than me having to go back all the way to the depot or postpone this visit for an extra couple of days, is there a part near me that I can get, and therefore services requests much quicker. It improves customer satisfaction. Also allows the back-end company to track exactly what assets they have and where, allowing them to distribute effectively. And we're working on a couple of other pilots to try and see if it can be used outside of just utilities. I mean, there is one example where we actually use this in the States with a police force, where they track all of their assets, which includes firearms. So, real-world examples of how you can make sure that the data we capture is useful. We're also looking at smart healthcare. So some of these things are only in pilot, but it's, as I said earlier, it's identifying the information we can gather that allows us to analyze the health of a person. So your gait apparently is key to identifying, I think it's at least 80 different illnesses. I'm not a medical expert, so these are the figures I'm being told, but it's identifying what can we use to actually capture all this information. So your phone has sensors in it that allow it to track movement. We reuse some of the like Xbox Connect, which actually measures the person's movement and gait. It's where can we get all of this information? Where can we look at capturing that? And we're looking at this in terms of, we've got a pilot at the moment for assisted living. And so it's used in an environment where people don't necessarily get about that much, but we're finding that if you can monitor and drive them to do things, it improves their health quicker. So you can get them out of the hospital quicker because you're driving the rehabilitation based on what you monitor, rather than coming in and doing a 15-minute check every few hours. So what are we looking at going forward? So we're looking at what we can do in terms of the pictures don't quite line up, but in terms of the wearables and what it is we can look to capture. So rather than having to be, if you like at the moment, we've got the capabilities where you can stand everything and use your hands, and it picks up the movement and you can do this. And it's understanding how we can interact with the environment and try to capture that information. And then we've done it before. We're looking at healthcare. We're looking at things that, at the moment we're looking at enzyme-powered chips. So they're packed on pills, and you take the pill to start capturing information. So it monitors your internal temperature, all those things, and it actually tracks the fact that you've taken the tablet. It's transferring information, then that goes back to GPs. And then analytics. It's looking at how can we come up and manage the information that we capture. How can we actually analyze that to provide more value? So it's how do we get the statistical analysis? For us being technologists, it's easier for us to capture information, and we get this, some people call them data lakes and all those things, but what do we do with that? And it's understanding that actually there are more skills that we need to actually invest in, and that's where we come to the ecosystem of not just us as a big vendor doing things, but it's using the multiple SMEs out there that have expertise in these areas and can move a lot quicker. So that's it from me. There's just contact information if you want to. I would say the Fujitsu Technology Service Meeting is a good read. It's not about Fujitsu and the services that we deliver. It's about what we think is happening in the thing. So it's quite a good read. It's not trying to sell Fujitsu products, it's just trying to say this is where we think things are going.
Thank you.